An impromptu speech is Dr. Jen.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, so I'd like to talk to you about something that you use every day, but perhaps you don't think about every day. And I'm going to be talking to you about vision. So let's think about how our day starts. We're asleep with a little luck. And we're not really looking at anything while we're asleep, right? But man, we wake up and then, pow, the day starts to flood in, right? We go through the day, end of the day, it's time to go to bed, we shut our eyes, and the day turns off. But the way we take in each and every day that we have is arguably through our eyes, right? And we don't generally spend an awful lot of time thinking about our eyes, assuming that they're working correctly. Everything's pretty good there, right? Although, hopefully, once a year, we all go visit the eye doctor, right? As we get older, we keep our fingers and toes crossed. We hope for an extremely uneventful visit. If we wear contacts or glasses, we're always open to a little adjustment into what's going on. It's interesting, I only recently found out that once you get maybe 40 or 50, your eyes really don't adjust anymore. They're pretty much done adjusting at that point in time. The only thing that can happen is bad things. So there you go now, that's right. So we go, we get checked out, hopefully everything's pretty good, and then we put it on the back burner and we'll go see the eye doctor again in about a year. Or so we would think. Now, it turns out that there's something out there waiting for you. Whether or not you're waiting for it is a separate issue, but it's waiting for you. And what it is, it's called cataracts. And we've all heard about cataracts. And perhaps, cataract is a very, very common eye ailment. In fact, it's so common, I would suspect that just like me, you've probably seen cataract vans going around, taking cataract patients into the hospital and taking them back home. It's a high volume business. What are these things called cataracts, you say? Good question. So cataract is a condition that occurs in your eye when the lens, that all the light that comes into your eye, starts to become cloudy. Okay? And cataract is arguably a characteristic of growing old. So everybody in this room, pretty much, will eventually deal with cataracts. It's just a characteristic thing. So what is a cataract? Well, what it is, it's the lens that all the light passes through starts to become cloudy. What happens is in that eye, when you look at something, it's like a sheet is being placed in front of it. No longer can you make out the detail. In fact, as it becomes cloudier and cloudier, less and less detail becomes available to you. Well, that doesn't sound good. I don't really want to be looking at the world through a bunch of sheets. What can I do about a cataract? Good news. This is a high volume problem that has a high volume solution. You can go, here it comes, and have cataract surgery. So, it brings up an interesting question. In my particular case, and the reason I'm so interested in this is because I've been going to the eye doctor for a few years, and she's been telling me, oh, you've got a cataract. And she's been telling me that forever and ever. And now it's starting to get a little bit larger, and so now I'm starting to become a little bit more interested in what she's saying. So here's the scoop. So what is cataract surgery? When you go into cataract, now we all know what an eyeball looks like. You can sort of picture what an eyeball looks like, right? It turns out that if you go beneath that sort of rounded, watery outside part, you'll actually find the lens. And the lens is just simply a flat membrane that's protected by the eyeball part, and it's what all the light goes through, right? And if you wear glasses or contacts, that lens is the part that never really worked quite right? Because it was somehow too long or too wide or something like that, and just it didn't put light where it was supposed to do. But in a cataract surgery, what they do is they slide a sharp, pointy instrument, sorry about that, into your eyeball, okay? And then they destroy the lens. The lens that has the cataract is destroyed. I'm not exactly sure how they do it. They might use like ultrasound or something like that, but they break it up and then they suck it out. So they actually completely remove your lens, which, as you can well imagine, for your vision is not going to do you any good. Hey, the cataract wasn't good, but having your lens completely removed is sort of like taking a step backwards. But hang on, there's good news. Because the second part of a cataract operation is when they insert lens. Okay? Now, in the world of cataracts, it turns out there are two types of lenses. One, and this is the one that most people get and has been available for the longest period of time, is called a monofocus lens. And effectively, when they slide this lens into place, what the cataract patient is going to be able to do is see 20/20, which is basically perfect vision, at a distance. So they're going to have knock it out of the park distance vision. What they won't have is knock it out of the park short-term vision. So if you go in for cataract surgery and you have the monovision lens implanted, you, for the rest of your life, will be using readers to actually read newspapers and books and stuff like that. But boy, you're out hunting or something like that, you've got it nailed, right? Because you can see at a distance perfectly. There is another type of lens you can get, and it's called a multi-focus lens. Right? Now that starts interesting. And a multi-focus lens actually has three different areas that you can see at. Once again, 20/20 at a long sight. And then it has what they like to call computer distance, and then they have like a reader distance. So it's a single lens, but has three different types of lenses built into it, so that with a single lens you're able to see far and near, and you will never again need to wear, as they like to say in all the documentation, spectacles. All right, well there we go now. Now that sounds pretty good. So why doesn't everybody get the multifocal lens? Well, the reason is because it's about roughly $3,000 per eye for that little enhancement. Medicaid, Medicare, and most insurance programs will cover cataract surgery. Nothing out of pocket. Okay? You get the fancy lens, you're looking at somewhere between maybe $3,000 and $6,000 additional expenses to be able to have this multifocal type of thing going on. A lot of advantages, but obviously a fair amount of expense to it also. So how long does a cataract surgery take? Well, this is the amazing part. 10 minutes.
No.
It takes 10 minutes for this whole process to go on. What's interesting is that the monofocus lens, the one that gives you perfect sight at 20/20, but you still have to use the readers, the doctor basically just drops it in and walks away. That's all there is to it. If you get the multifocus lens, however, he has to very carefully position it. There's actually 3 dots on the lens, and he has to line those dots up north and south perfectly to make sure that you have the crispest, sharpest vision possible. Clearly, you want to have a good doctor who's having a good day who hasn't had too much coffee before he started working on you, right? So that's right. So this is all very exciting stuff. From my point of view, I sort of view cataract surgery as being something that old people get. I'm not old, so what the heck am I doing with that? But I must confess, I've been intrigued and tempted by the concept. I'm using readers these days. What the hell's up with that, right? Just to be able to read close-up stuff. Maybe if I get the surgery, I don't need to wear contacts anymore, don't need to wear glasses anymore, and I won't need to use readers anymore. And arguably, that's for the rest of my life. And so I'm looking at about 50 years there. That's not, that seems like maybe an investment now will pay some benefits going forward. So stay tuned. We'll see how this actually turns out. But that's what you need to know about cataract surgery.
Thank you, Jim. Very informative and entertaining speech. Could you please give me 1 minute? Now, getting back to our story on time, what changed?